Every day we stand in front of mirrors without thinking twice. We raise a hand, adjust our hair, look into our own eyes, and walk away as if nothing remarkable has happened. Yet hidden inside this most ordinary human action is a question that has quietly survived centuries of science, philosophy, and psychology. When you raise your right hand, the reflection raises what appears to be its left. When you lean your head to one side, the reflection follows correctly without flipping upside down. This strange selectivity feels natural, so natural that most people never stop to examine it. We casually say, mirrors reverse left and right, but not up and down, and accept that explanation as if it were a basic law of nature. But the moment you slow down and look closely, that explanation collapses. A mirror does not understand left or right. It has no awareness of directions, no knowledge of bodies, no sense of orientation. A mirror performs one simple physical operation, and one only. It reverses the axis perpendicular to its surface. Front becomes back, back becomes front. That is all. Up remains up, down remains down, left remains left. The mirror does not choose what to reverse. It obeys geometry and optics without interpretation. The mystery does not live in the glass. It lives entirely in the observer. To understand why the illusion feels so convincing, we must first understand how the human body organizes space. From the moment we are born, gravity teaches us up and down. We fall toward the ground, not sideways. Our balance, our movement, and our survival depend on this vertical distinction. Left and right are learned differently. They are anchored to the asymmetry of our bodies, the heart slightly off-center, the dominant hand, the uneven distribution of skill and strength. These directions become deeply personal, but front and back are something else entirely. They are relative. Turn around and they instantly exchange roles. There is nothing in the universe that marks one as fundamentally different from the other. When you look into a mirror, your brain does something subtle and automatic. You do not merely observe the reflection. You imagine yourself inside it. You mentally rotate your body to match the orientation of the image you see. This imagined rotation is not random. It follows the easiest path your mind knows. During that rotation, left and right swap places, while up and down stay fixed. The mirror itself has not changed anything. Your interpretation has. This mental rotation happens so quickly that it feels invisible. There is no sensation of movement, no awareness of transformation. The result arrives instantly and feels like perception rather than inference. That is why the illusion persists even after it is explained. You can know the truth intellectually and still feel the reversal emotionally. Knowledge corrects logic, but habit preserves intuition. This is what makes the mirror question so powerful. It exposes the difference between understanding something and feeling it to be true. Many scientific explanations suffer this gap, but few reveal it so clearly. The mirror forces us to confront the limits of introspection. We do not have direct access to the machinery of our own perception. We experience only the outcome. For centuries, this question remained a curiosity, a clever puzzle discussed in classrooms and philosophy books. But in the 20th century, it gained unexpected depth. Physicists long believed that the laws of nature were perfectly symmetric. If a process could happen in one orientation, it should happen identically, when left and right were swapped. This belief was called parity symmetry, and it seemed self-evident. Why would the universe care about direction? Then experiments involving the weak nuclear force shattered that assumption. Certain subatomic particles behaved differently when their interactions were mirrored. The universe itself preferred one direction over the other. Left and right were not interchangeable at the deepest level of reality. Symmetry was broken. This discovery transformed the mirror question from a psychological curiosity into a philosophical shock. The discomfort we feel when looking at our reflection was no longer just a trick of the mind. It echoed a real asymmetry built into the structure of nature itself. Reality was not obligated to align with our intuitions. This realization, deeply interested thinkers like entity people, Richard Feynman, theoretical physicist Feynman, argued that many of our confusions arise not from faulty observation, but from language. Words like left, right, front, and back feel fundamental, but they are not. They are tools built around the human body. When those tools are applied outside their natural context, they break down. A mirror does not reverse left and right, because left and right are not properties of the world. They are properties of us. The mirror simply reflects light. Everything else we experience is interpretation layered on top of physics. This is why the mirror illusion never truly disappears. It survives education, explanation, and repetition. It survives because it reveals something uncomfortable. Our perception of reality is not a direct window onto the world. It is a constructed experience shaped by biology, habit, and expectation. Mirrors do not distort the universe. They expose the quiet distortions already present in the human mind. The mirror illusion becomes more unsettling the longer we sit with it, because it refuses to behave like an ordinary mistake. Most errors vanish once they are explained. This one does not. Even after learning that a mirror only reverses front and back, the feeling of left-right reversal remains stubbornly intact. This persistence tells us something important. The illusion is not a failure of reasoning. It is a feature of how human perception organizes space. The human brain evolved not to understand reality, but to survive within it. It builds models that are useful, fast, and mostly reliable. These models are deeply tied to the body that carries them. Directions are not abstract coordinates. They are lived experiences. Left is the side of the weaker hand. Right is the side of precision and control. Front is the direction of movement and vision. Back is vulnerability. These meanings are emotional, long before they are intellectual. When you encounter a mirror, the brain does not treat it as a flat surface reflecting light. It treats it as another self, another body occupying space. This is why mirrors are so powerful psychologically. We recognize ourselves instantly even before conscious thought. The reflection feels like an entity that must be oriented correctly. To make sense of it, the brain performs an unconscious transformation, aligning the reflected body with our own imagined position. That transformation is the source of the illusion, to face the same direction as the reflection we imagine turning around. But the simplest mental rotation is not a flip through space. It is a rotation around a vertical axis. This choice preserves up and down while exchanging left and right. The brain selects this option not because it is correct, but because it is familiar. We turn around this way countless times every day. We almost never flip upside down. Once this rotation is complete, the reflected body feels comparable to our own. But the cost of that comparison is a subtle reassignment of labels. What was originally left is now experienced as right. The mirror has not altered the image. The brain has altered the interpretation. This explains a curious detail. If you write a word on paper and hold it up to a mirror, the letters appear reversed. But if you rotate the paper around a vertical axis before holding it up, the mirror image appears correct. The mirror did not change its behavior. Your preparation did. The reversal exists in how orientation is established, not in the reflection itself. These examples reveal a deeper truth. Mirrors do not violate spatial rules. They expose the rules we secretly use. We assume that front, back, left, and right are absolute features of the world. In reality, they are conventions anchored to the body. Mirrors break those conventions and force the brain to improvise.
This improvisation becomes even more revealing when we consider non-human perspectives. A creature with radial symmetry or a different sensory system might not experience mirror reversal at all. The illusion depends on a body like ours and a brain trained by gravity, walking, and bilateral motion. It is not universal, it is local.
This realization shifts the question from physics to philosophy. The mirror problem is not about what the mirror does. It is about how observers impose structure on experience. The world delivers raw sensory data. Meaning is added afterward. Physics encountered a similar lesson in the 20th century. For a long time, symmetry was treated as a guiding principle. Beautiful equations were expected to remain unchanged under transformation. Left and right were assumed to be interchangeable because nothing obvious distinguished them. Symmetry felt like a sign of truth. Then experiments revealed something unexpected. Certain fundamental processes did not respect left-right symmetry. The universe itself contained a directional preference. This was not an illusion. It was measurable, repeatable, and undeniable. Nature did not care about human expectations of balance. This discovery forced physicists to confront the difference between mathematical elegance and physical reality. Symmetry was not a law. It was an approximation. The universe was allowed to be uneven. The mirror illusion suddenly felt less trivial. Our discomfort in front of reflections echoed a deeper discomfort in science itself. We wanted the world to align neatly with our mental categories. It did not. Thinkers like entity people, Richard Feynman, theoretical physicist, emphasized this point repeatedly. Feynman warned against trusting intuition when it conflicts with careful reasoning. He argued that confusion often arises when we mistake descriptive tools for fundamental truths. Directions feel real because we live inside them. That does not make them properties of the universe. Mirrors are honest because they do not share our habits. They reflect light without preference or interpretation. They show us the consequences of our assumptions without commentary. When the result feels wrong, the fault is not in the glass. It is in the framework we brought to it. This is why the mirror question has such staying power. It is not merely puzzling, it is revealing. It reminds us that perception is not passive. We are not cameras recording reality. We are active participants constructing it. The mirror simply holds up that construction and asks us to look at it carefully. By the time we reach the deepest layer of the mirror question, it no longer feels like a trick or a puzzle. It feels like a quiet confrontation. The mirror has followed the rules perfectly from the beginning. It reflected light, obeyed geometry, and remained indifferent to confusion. All the discomfort accumulated on the human side of the glass. This alone should make us pause. Whenever a phenomenon feels mysterious, despite being fully explained, it usually means the explanation challenges something we did not realize we were assuming. The final assumption the mirror exposes is the belief that human ways of organizing space must align with reality itself. We instinctively trust our categories because they work so well in everyday life. Left and right guide movement, front and back guide attention. These distinctions feel embedded in the fabric of the world. But physics has shown again and again that usefulness is not the same as truth. At the most fundamental level, the universe does not label directions the way we do. Space does not come marked with arrows saying left or right. Those arrows appear only when bodies appear and observers appear and habits form. Even the surprising discovery that nature breaks left-right symmetry does not rescue our intuition. The asymmetry of the weak force is not aligned with human-handedness. It does not validate our feelings in front of mirrors. It simply reminds us that reality chooses its own structure. This is where the mirror question becomes unsettling rather than confusing. We want the universe to either agree with us or correct us cleanly. Instead, it does neither. The mirror illusion survives because it sits at the boundary between perception and principle. It is not wrong enough to disappear and not right enough to trust. Think again about what happens when you stand before a mirror. Light leaves your body, strikes the surface, and returns. Physics completes its task. Everything else happens inside the mind. Identity recognition, orientation mapping, body ownership expectation. None of these are properties of mirrors. They are properties of brains. This insight echoes a broader lesson that appears across science. We never experience reality directly. We experience models. Vision, hearing, balance, and touch are all interpretations layered on top of raw input. They are shaped by evolution, not truth-seeking. Mirrors disrupt one of those models and briefly expose the machinery behind it. This is why mirrors have always carried symbolic power. Across cultures, they represent self-knowledge, deception, doubling, and uncertainty. Long before physics explained reflection, people sensed that mirrors revealed something unstable about identity. The science did not remove the mystery. It clarified why the mystery feels unavoidable. Entity people, Richard Feynman, theoretical physicist, often emphasize that the most interesting questions are the ones that survive correct answers. The mirror problem belongs to that category. You can explain it accurately and still feel unsettled. That feeling is not ignorance. It is friction between evolved intuition and indifferent reality. When you finally accept this, the mirror question changes shape. It is no longer asking why mirrors reverse left and right. It is asking why we expect the world to make intuitive sense at all. Why should space conform to the habits of a primate brain evolved on a small planet under gravity. Mirrors do not reverse the world. They reverse confidence. They remind us that understanding is layered and that explanation does not guarantee comfort. The glass does nothing extraordinary. We do. And perhaps that is the most honest ending. The mirror stands silent, unchanged, and accurate. The confusion fades not because the illusion vanishes, but because we learn to live with it. Reality does not promise clarity. It offers consistency. The rest is our responsibility.